WMMS.
I don't know.
It was.
Is that what people are complaining about when I see like articles being written about the All-Star Game is unwatchable? I don't know what they mean.
And they'll watch it. But it used to be a little more competitive in that they would play defense, but now these guys are getting so much money.
Nobody wants to get hurt.
And they don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
So they just go out there and have fun. And yeah, like I love basketball, but the All-Star Game is not a priority, and it hasn't been a priority in a long time because it's always been this kind of thing. It's just gotten to the point where they're not even faking it anymore. They're like, hey, we don't want to get hurt. We're just going to shoot threes from half court.
This is an exhibition, not a competition.
Yeah.
Well, the Cavs will be back here at home on Thursday night to play the Orlando Magic. That's a 7 o'clock tip here on WMMS. Pre-game begins 30 minutes prior, and you'll hear all of it on the Buzzard and on the iHeartRadio app. If you listen to us on the app from out of state, tell me where you do that. Roger listens in East Amherst, New York. That is suburban Buffalo, if memory serves. David and Megan are in D.C. Nate listens in San Francisco. Joy is out in Lombard, Illinois. Speaking of people writing things unwatchable and don't do this, AI girlfriends is a thing that is apparently on the rise. There's a lot of lonely people, and AI girlfriends might seem to be a boon to the incel community. But the only thing, it seems, that your AI girlfriend is going to suck is your data. And so they're warning people, your AI girlfriend is just harvesting all your information. And this is how lonely people can get. I'm sure somewhere in their brain, they know that. We've all been online now long enough to know that everything you look at and everything you do is just there to get your information. But, these chatbots, these AI girlfriends that these guys have, again, this is kind of the modern day equivalent of my girlfriend goes to another school, right? That old cliche in, back in the day, they go, oh, how come we've never seen your girlfriend? Oh, she's not from around here. She lives in Canada. And it was funny back then because there was no internet. There was no meeting somebody online. You'd have to come up with some story about how you met them at camp. At least that's what I heard. I never went to camp. But I remember a friend in particular who was being goofed on because he said he had a girlfriend from out of state. And, we would have been 12, 13 years old at this time, and nobody could get their heads around how this would have happened. How do you have a girlfriend out of state? And his answer was, I met her at camp. We said, where does she live? And he'd come up with something. I don't remember chapter and verse, but it was pretty harmless, right? You tell your friends a story. You probably knew they didn't really believe you. But now, this isn't something people are going to brag about. Nobody's going to brag about having an AI girlfriend. But they're just there to get all of your information.
I remember going to a party at another school, and there was kids making out at it, and then I went back to school and told all the kids at my school about this party that everybody was making out at, and they're like, you're making that up. That didn't happen, because this is like 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And the party was with my friend who was a year ahead of me, so he was in 6th grade. So they were like really doing crazy
Wait,
stuff.
you told everybody that you were at the party or that you were making out with people?
That I was at the party and everybody was making out, but there was a girl that liked me at that party, and we started dating as a result of that.
Yeah. She went to another school.
And she went to another school. And I was like, no, that didn't happen. You're lying, blah, blah, blah. This girl doesn't know you. And then 2 weeks later, we had a field trip, and it was this, I don't even know how this happened, but we ended up at this assembly in another school that those kids were at too, and the girl waved to me, and I waved at her, and I was like, that's the girl.
Oh, you
and
got to prove
like,
it.
Oh, Bill was telling the truth.
Right.
And I was like, yeah.
Those stars
Take
so
that.
rarely align,
I know.
too. That's a perfect moment in time.
It was
That's the girl.
wonderful.
So
Never talked to her again after that. But
but you didn't need to.
I didn't need to. I had that moment of validation. That was better almost than when one of the booth guys liked the music that I was playing. Pretty similar feeling.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
similar feeling.
You gotten the nod yet, Cody?
I have not.
From the security guards here at 668?
No.
Wow, nobody.
I got a Pat Butler nod today. Well, it was just a hi, but I'm sure he would have liked the dark wave music I was listening to.
Sure. Yeah, there was nobody in there again this morning when I came in, so I didn't get any nod. Anyway, so AI girlfriends, and there are AI boyfriends too. Let's be frank, because he might be. That they are not really boyfriends and girlfriends, that they are just
Programs.
Again, obviously they are, because, some people purport these to be like good for people's mental health and whatever. And my thought is always anything that stops someone from going out and shooting other people because they can't get laid, I see as a net plus. But, over time, I mean, they're just getting data out of you. And so there are all kinds of apps. Maybe you're on one of them. Maybe you're ignoring the fact that you go, I know they're taking all my data, because you'll hear people say, well, all my data is already out there. What am I worried about?
What was that
And to some degree, you're probably right.
What was the movie where the guy fell in love with the AI?
The Lawnmower Man.
No, well, that was one.
Her?
Was it her?
Scarlett
Her.
Johansson
Yeah.
and Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
I never saw it, but that is the premise of that movie. He fell asleep with essentially his Alexa.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-Alexa. No, I didn't see that. But, yeah, he essentially fell in love with Scarlett Johansson's voice. And who among us wouldn't, frankly?
Good voice.
Right? Even if you didn't see her, because then you see her
I still
and you
need to
fall in
see
love with
her.
her boobs.
Yeah.
But the voice, just lovely. It's like a song. So anyway, these AI significant others, they're just out there getting your information.
That's a tough thing to contend with. If a girl dates an AI boyfriend, he knows everything about you. He's paying attention. Did I ever tell you about? You didn't have to tell me about it. I already knew.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm in all your profiles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the AI girlfriends, they're just as attentive.
Mm-hmm. But
By the
that's not the complaint by most men, that women aren't
What's the complaint?
paying
That
attention. A lot of women, it's kind of a cliche, say that their boyfriends don't pay attention to them, or they don't listen to them, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever women say, who cares?
I don't know what she said. I wasn't listening. Yeah. So there's obviously an advantage, a disadvantage there. Also, props to the Cam Soda people. Everybody familiar with Cam Soda? It's like one of the first and still biggest webcam companies, and they know when to hop on a bandwagon. They have created a line of Stanley Tumbler fleshlights, and I think this is the perfect. I know it's after Valentine's Day, but you really don't need a specific day of the year to grab something like this. So they've made these things that they look like those giant Stanley cups. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. The Stanley cups?
I think they're still going.
Are they still going?
I think so.
Okay. They were white hot for a while. People getting in arguments in line in stores and things like that. But the Cam Soda people have created something called the Sexy Sipper, which takes like that Stanley giant mug-looking thing, and it's a fleshlight. So now,
can you also use it as a mug?
That was what I was going to ask.
That's what I want to know.
Coffee, no cream. You got to know whether or not it has. I'm not getting the vibe that it is multi-purpose in that way. And it's probably...
Well, make sure they're labeled properly, because you don't want to be reaching for your Stanley and accidentally grab
your sexy sipper
and take a big swig.
Here's how you can tell. The Stanley cup is the one without the giant fake vagina on it. That'll be a good thing to remember.
Yeah, but in the dark,
Just remember that. Just put your kind of the palm of your hand, if you're in the dark, on the top of the mug. And if you feel what feels like the rim of an actual cup, that would be that. That would be you checking out the, let's call it a rim job. That would be you checking that out. Whereas if you felt the rubber appendage on there, And they make them for ladies, too. You can throw a rod on there, and it's a 12-inch tall cup. So they point out that it's great for guys of all sizes and not to be outdone. I don't know how many of these they're selling. I don't know if the Stanley Cup people are going to look into any kind of litigation.
I mean, what?
You know how litigious companies can be, but it's not like they invented the concept of a mug.
Right.
Yeah. Ellen, my girlfriend, said I never pay attention, and I thought, what a weird way to start a conversation. Well, she's getting right out there, right?
Yeah.
She's starting the conversation, because if she throws that in halfway, God forbid she does the old, what did I just say? You go, but to start it with that, you know what? You never pay attention to me. I don't know. I think it's good to be in rapt attention. I was trying to explain this to my second grader. We were walking the dog, and I said, you know, it's for a lot of people, it's a real superpower when you listen to people, because there's a lot of people who talk. But when you listen to people, that can be seen as kind of a rarity, and you never know what you'll learn when you actually take the time to listen to what people are saying. And I said, sure, in some places it's called eavesdropping, but that's a whole other thing. You know, if you're not in a private conversation, but we've all overheard people, and it can be a very interesting situation when you overhear a conversation.
Sometimes it's the best.
You never know what you're going to pick up on. And you didn't mean to eavesdrop. It's not your fault.
You're in public.
They were speaking too loudly, and you have good hearing. And you just happen to hear something. Don't mistake it for that Dune popcorn bucket either, says Stephen Canton. Yeah, they did a whole SNL bit on that a couple of weeks ago, about that Dune, and whoever made that knew exactly what they were doing, obviously.
Yeah.
The Dune popcorn bucket, where the top of it looks like one of the sandworms.
More people have talked about that than anything that has to do with Dune.
Yeah, the Dune popcorn bucket. So that's all fun and cute stuff, but now I'm going to inflict some pain on you. Now I'm going to make it hurt. Guys, ladies, you don't have to pay attention if you don't want to. A 73-year-old guy in Australia shows up to urgent care and is in a lot of pain because this guy gets off on putting things in his penis.
Oh, I knew you were going to go that.
You know, I just couldn't wait for the next time that Dr. Ryan Berglund was here for Is It Red? Imagine being 73 years old. And I don't know how long he's been doing this. Maybe, let's say it was a recent development. Let's say within the past couple of years, maybe this guy turned 70 and he goes, you know what? I'm always discovering new things about myself. I like putting things in there. This guy had to get himself to the emergency room or urgent care or something like that because he had 3 button-sized batteries in his urethra and could not get them out.
Oh, dude. Like,
you know, these are easy.
Did you think there are magnets and the other 2 were going to help pull the other one? Like, how do you get 3? One is curiosity. 3 is just reckless.
But also, listen, I don't want to ever kink shame anybody, but this does get into an area where you can do physical damage to yourself. And for some people, the kink is so strong that they're like, I'm willing to do whatever. People that are into sounding, and they will tell you until they're blue in the face that it's safe if blah, blah, blah. I don't buy it, but God bless you. You do what you want to do. But it always seems to me you've
polar
probably...
blast punishment.
Sounding.
Well, these 3 batteries.
3 batteries.
Yeah.
Well, I always feel like you've missed a lot of other things if you've gotten to jamming stuff in your penis. And this guy at 73 years old, got 3 button-sized batteries in there. And he told the doctors, I've done this before and haven't had any problems. So let's follow it through to the times that he didn't have problems. He got them in there, but then how would you get them out? It's like when the drawstring on your hoodie gets stuck in the hood.
And then you have to put a safety pin on it.
Yeah, you got to like squeeze the
little by little
tube there.
Oh, that's brutal.
I usually just find the knot and then like work it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what this guy had to do, I guess those other times, was he just squeezed intermittently until the battery came popping out. So anyway, this guy went in and he got three button-sized batteries in there, and they got stuck. They were worried about gangrene if they couldn't get them out.
What do the Jets have to do with this?
They're just as useless in this guy's penis as they are in the gridiron. What, Cody?
Even if that's your kink, why disrespect your penis like that? I feel like that's some self-hate.
Well, I don't know if it's a matter of disrespect. I mean, I always think of people who are so numb to everything else that they go, I guess I'll try this, right? Now, again, this guy's 73.
Give it a shot. Yeah.
You're going to change, like, the whole size. Like, it's not going to go back. It's not like a butt. Like, I don't understand.
You're right. A pee hole is not like a butt.
But they're treating it like it is, and that's my issue. Like,
you know, a lot of people don't treat their butt like that either. That's also part of a specific area of life that not everybody engages in.
But if they said, I have a kink for putting stuff, can I say up my butt?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that whole website, the Rectal Foreign Bodies website.
But that is not foreign. If you like the feeling, if you are gay and you like the feeling of something up there, you know,
that's still foreign. It's still considered a foreign object, as it does not organically end up there.
That's more common. I remember.
It's more common, but it still happens all the time where people get stuff.
Yeah, I remember watching Jackass when Steve-O had a race car in a condom, and he stuck it up his butt.
Was that Steve-O or Pontius?
I think it was Steve-O, because he went to the ER. And they gave him a X-ray, and they wanted to see it up there for whatever reason. Like, they got a kick out of that. That is like something you can easily pull it out of there, I think. So if someone told me that they have a kink of putting something up their butt, I'm like, oh, okay, well, doesn't every gay. But that is specifically, you have exhausted every other orifice in your body, and you're like, nope, this is it. This is the one I found. Like, you start out small, and you work your way up to a button-sized battery.
I mean, when I was actually glad that there were the button size, because when I saw the headline, I was like, what's he working with, like AAAs or 9 volts? So the buttons, you kind of go, all right, well,
there's so many things.
Not for me, but
can go wrong. And
the booty is where the doo-doo is, boy.
The chafing and the sweating and just the internal infection. Like, what if the outside of the battery is not clean? What if it's like one of those?
Yeah, batteries have acid in them. Like, you
but that's
don't.
in them. I'm not even.
I know, but I'm just saying that, like, if something like that, if they can't get it out of your body, you're going to be in trouble.
I'm not even going like that far. I'm not
keeps eating batteries.
I'm not saying it's even going to like explode, but like, what if you found? Ooh, I found this in an old, box in my attic. Like, there's dust on it. There's all types of bacteria. Even your hands, like.
I'd like to think that this guy had the good sense to clean the batteries before he started putting them in his pee hole like a Pez dispenser.
Think of how much that'll burn. God. Like sorry, I bleached them before I put them up there. Ooh, like
gotta rinse.
This guy waited 24 hours to seek medical attention.
Sheesh.
They had to make an incision in his penis.
Of course they did.
They were worried that they would have to remove his urethra.
And now he's probably into that. He's like,
yeah. Hey, listen, I'm always finding something new. Listen, there are people who, body mod people. For some people, they're like, earrings and tattoos are just not enough for me. How about if I cut off a finger? Obviously, that's an extreme case, but who knows? So, guys, you can uncross your legs. It didn't happen to you. It happened to this guy.
Nah, you still got.
Anytime the words penile necrosis are in the same sentence, it makes me a little nervous. But he's okay.
That's a story for like the nurses and stuff. Like, imagine.
Yeah. And the worst part about it is Australia. So when the nurses tell that story, it's with that god awful accent. He came in. I was like, "Ar nar."
My gays are in Australia right now.
Mm-hmm. Down under. Yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get a break. Hey, you want to send a text? 35192. You can listen anywhere you are on the iHeartRadio app.
Nobody wants